Hello, Speed Gaming, and welcome to the weekly Final Fantasy VI Randomizer race. I'm Joker Mage. I'm joined in the comms by Drinks Glue, and we are ably restreamed today by the one, the only, the Schwantz. Glue, why don't you tell us about the racers? We have 12 of them in total, I believe, but we're featuring 4 for now.
Yeah, so we have 4 racers on your screen right now. We have 2 dogs and Falcon Hit and Gar. We have the original dog himself and Saberwolf. And Turdsman, well, that guy got that dog in him, I tell you what. So we got 4 highly competitive, highly talented racers on the restream. And on top of that, in this race, we also have 8 other racers that will be taking place off stream. So we have 8 plus 4 is 12, if I'm not mistaken. And so we have White, the Robust Pool tonight for you.
And I believe this seed was rolled by Turdsman, who's on the stream right now. So if anything interesting happens or non-interesting happens, you can blame him. But yeah, this looks like a really great one. This is going to be Ultras League Season 6, or I'm sorry, Season 5. And that's coming up very shortly. So definitely, if you're interested in this, now is the time to join and start learning. There's been a lot of changes. Glue, do you want to go over a few of those?
So tonight, what we are showcasing is our Ultras League 5 flag set. Season 5, the version 5 of Ultras League, our widely adopted flag set. If almost official, not quite official, because there are some other interesting flags I personally like to play, but widely adopted. And what we're doing tonight is showcasing some of those flags, and then we're also going to highlight some of the changes from past seasons. One of which is going to be the reintroduction of the spell Ultima. If you played vanilla Final Fantasy VI, you probably at some point in time learned Ultima and never casted anything else. That's just how powerful of its spell it is in Final Fantasy VI, and Worlds Collide, it's no different. So it's typically removed in past seasons, but in this season, it's making a return. But there are some drawbacks to Ultima that you won't see in the vanilla game. One is that it will have a 254 MP cost, which is rather quite high. So even if you find it right away and happen to learn it, it will be a while before you start spamming it like you would in the vanilla game. And second, it will always have a ×1 learn rate if you do find it. So if you do find it, it will take some levels, it will take some grinding, it will take some time to get online. Unless, of course, you find, a Randomizer, which makes it very, very juicy then.
Yeah, and I believe the one guaranteed place you can find it is the Paladin Shield still.
Yes.
Which means you will have to have lock to open up the weapon shop or the whatever shop it was in Narsh that has it. Go get it, then hopefully have enough fights left in the game before you have to go to Final Kefka to unlock it. And then again, you're dealing with that just like 1 unit learn rate, so it will take a while even after you unlock it.
Yeah, and another change that is for Season 5 is the learn rate, or excuse me, the uncursed rate for the Paladin Shield. In Season 4, it could be anywhere from 3 to 14 battles that it would take to unlock it. With Ultima in the mix now, we did up that a little bit. So now the minimum battles will always be 16, and the maximum in that range will be 14. So anywhere to 6 to 14 battles is required to unlock the Paladin Shield, which is arguably the best defensive item in the game anyways. And then on top of that, you learn Ultima at a ×1 rate with it. Super powerful, so we did have to kind of nerf that a little bit with a couple extra battles to prevent runners from getting it super fast. Another thing we would like to highlight, which is a huge positive change in the right direction in my opinion, is the pool of items that can be rewarded from a dead check in Worlds Collide has been drastically reduced. Previously, there was a lot of unwanted items that you could be rewarded with from a dead check, such as a force armor or a force
Marvel
shield.
shoes.
Marvel shoes. Yeah.
I know I had a practice seed in the Season 5 that had 3 offerings, and I hadn't even found Katana Soul yet.
Yeah, so we cut out a lot of the high tier items, if you even debatably want to call them that, from the pool of items that can be awarded from a dead check, to kind of push back on the how crippling of an effect a number of dead checks can be if you happen to come across them. So it's only going to reward the better items in the game, such as offerings, Illuminas, Ragnaroks, Valiant Knives, Atma Weapon. I believe Cat Hood was re-added after my personal campaign to get it re-added. All of the elemental shields, and
is Fixed Dice in that group?
Fixed Dice is still in there. Offering, Genji Glove, Dragon Horn. Economizer was taken out. Gem Box was taken out. All of the Force Armor So the Force Armor and the Force Shield. There's no Force Helmet. Was taken out. The Genji Armor, the Genji Shield was taken out. And along with the Genji Helmet. Oh, thank you, Pero. I was just on that. And let's see. And then another big notable change that is going to impact a lot of runners' time is the ability to unlock the Kefka Tower skip at 21 checks instead of the traditional 9 character or 12 Esper requirement to get the skip. 21 checks is a very reachable amount in an Ultra Sleeve flag set. You can get there with just a little extra routing with almost no added time to your run. It's a huge catch-up advantage. It's a huge game-changing thing in my opinion.
Yeah, and it looks like our racers have started. I see Terra, Realm, and Sabin. One of them has jump. I think I saw X Magic on another, but they're already going off, and we're already seeing some people headed towards the Esper Cave.
Yeah, so
Sealed Gate.
Yeah, a common play with Terra is going to be the Sealed Gate. It is one of the 5 checks that Terra has available to her. If you are new to Worlds Collide, a check is a part of the game, the vanilla game, that revolved around a character as far as their story. So, for example, in the vanilla game, Final Fantasy VI, you visit the Sealed Gate with Terra in your party in an attempt to convince the Espers to join your side and fight the Empire, and it doesn't quite go as planned. So in Worlds Collide, you will have a check around that story event. It is just a quick, condensed version of the story event from the vanilla game. So what our runners are doing now is going to the Sealed Gate, getting all the mini chests that are on the way there, and they will be rewarded with possibly a high-tier item, a character, or an Esper for their trouble.
Yeah, and all of the racers are currently looting because that's pretty much the standard start. You want to get a lot of that early game equipment either to sell it off for the stuff you really want or because you might find something really great in one of those early chests. And that's early power, and that early power can help get you some early levels, which gets you ahead of the scaling curve.
Yeah, so that's what why we're going to the Sealed Gate. That's why Saberwolf is not at the Sealed Gate, but he's in Albrook. What our runners will do at the beginning of any Worlds Collide seed, or any runner will do at the beginning of any Worlds Collide seed, barring unusual circumstances, is they will attempt to gather loot to get items for their party, to get equipment, get consumables so they can heal it and whatnot, and just kind of get their feet a little bit wet before they start taking battles, and they're a little more prepared for that.
Yeah, and likewise, Turdsman went to Returners Camp and is now in South Figaro for the same exact reason, checking shops and just looting the place. And I know for South Figaro, at least, both the World of Balance and World of Ruin open chests, like the ones out in the main area, get refilled. So there's twice as many things to open up there.
Yeah, so with the Terra opening, Returners is very popular because you get access to the Imperial Camp treasure room, and then you can open up all the chests in the way to the Sealed Gate, or the end of the Sealed Gate. In a non-Terra start, South Figaro is probably the most popular place runners will go. The reason for that is the mini chest out and about throughout the town. And you also get access to the South Figaro basement. You go through the rich person's house who has the dungeon for some reason. Underneath town, you can get access to all of those chests. And then if you switch worlds, if you did one world and you switch to the other, because in the vanilla game you could delay those chests. In Worlds Collide, they count as separate chests, so there will be different items in both worlds for those. So you can loot the outside of South Figaro twice.
Yeah, and we just saw Falcon Hit and Gar get rewarded for their Sealed Gate check with the Esper Siren, which I believe casts a mute if you use it as summon as an Esper, which can be very helpful in the final battle.
Yeah, it's really useful for tier 2. Mute is one of those things a lot as a runner you will have on your checklist of things you want to find at some point in time. Huge pickup there for Gar. Gar came across some ice rods. He only bought one, but knowing where they are this early, and quite of a convenient place like the weapon shop in Albrook, I won't be surprised if he came back for more later. And just found an offering for selling the World of Balance Sen. Didn't pick it up, but that's good to have in the back of the mind as well.
And Saberwolf just found fixed dice in the dungeon in South Figaro.
Nice.
So a lot of the runners are currently getting rewarded for their checks, but we haven't seen too many overlapping checks yet, except for Falconet and Gar going to the same places.
Yeah, and during this looting phase, which can encompass, anywhere from the first 10 minutes, give or take a few minutes for our runners, those are the type of items you want to find is offerings, fixed dice, wing edge. I think I just sold us wing edge as I say that. But things are there that are going to give you offense because our starting abilities are jump, which is good but not great. It's not S tier, but it's not C tier. We have GP rank. GP rank can be pretty good for some mobs that are multi-target, but it's not going to hold its weight very long. And then we have X magic, but to cast magic, we got to get Espers at some point in time and learn some spells. So no game-breaking starting abilities. We're kind of meh. So we're really hoping to find some high-tier swords or fixed dice or really just anything that can get damage off the ground.
I think with the offering and fixed dice that anyone checking out South Figaro will come across, they're going to have a really good start.
Yeah,
unfortunately, nobody can equip the fixed dice. I think Saberwolf checked it. So
okay.
we gotta get another character who can do it.
Yeah, that's the problem with the fixed dice. There's only one default person in the game that can wear it, and if you don't have them, everybody else has a 1 in 3 chance of possibly wearing it, and then 1 in 3 isn't 100%, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, Sabin has a lot of fairly quick, like a couple of really quick checks that are close together. I think Waterfall and Imperial Camp you can go and do, and those both have the possibility of finding that character that can equip the fixed dice.
Yeah, an interesting thing with this start is that Terra and Sabin are both the only characters with 5 checks available to them, and 5 checks is kind of 10 checks plus the 2 for realm plus then the Cafe at Narsh, that's 13. Typically, characters tend to be more weighted behind the newer characters you find. They're not in your starting party. So it actually may be a while before we find that first character because we have a lot of options we have to work through, and sometimes it's just a matter of guessing right.
And Saberwolf is going to go check out the sealed gate. He's going to also find Siren there.
Yeah, Saberwolf with Albrook first, and then as you know, is Falcon and Gar with it. It doesn't matter the order you do it in, but nothing wrong with this right here.
That was a Wing Edge and Thunder Shield in the Imperial station.
Yeah, there's also going to be up there Marble Shields. There it is for Saberwolf. Schwantz's favorite relic. I just missed I think Cure 3 was on Siren.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed it
Merton.
Yeah, we got
kind of Cure 3 if you have the Flame Shield.
Well, we do have 1 Flame Shield and World of Ruin South Figaro. I don't think Gar has been there, and we did have the Thunder Shield from the Treasure Room, so we're 2/4 of the way there for Merton protection.
And the earrings were also for sale in the same place the offering was, it looks like. So if you want to get your mages powered up, that's the way to do it.
And we got our first battle. It's going to be here with Gar at the Imperial Camp. Imperial Camp is one of Sabin's checks. It gives you access to 4 random encounters. Nice thing about Imperial Camp is it's a great opening check because there are no bosses you have to fight. So when you have kind of meh offense like this with just GP Ran and swinging Thunder Blades like he is, Imperial Camp's a nice one to start with or go to first.
Yeah, and normally I think Sabin gates like 3 of the monster chests, so if you're hunting for an offering, he's a good character to have. But we already know there's plenty of offerings elsewhere in this area. You don't have to get them from monsters in the box.
Yeah, I believe Gar did see those offerings, and we got Locke at the Collapsing House, so our character search won't be as long as I predicted it would be earlier, because everybody's going to make their way to Collapsing House very early.
It is another one of those really quick saving checks.
Yeah. You don't even have to saving. The Collapsing House gives you access to 2 monster boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other chests if you so desire. Plus, you get to go into Sand, which is a really, really small town, so you can get to all the shops pretty fast. Plus the Sand Thief. Really, really popular opening move when you have Sabin. Yeah, one of the things with Collapsing House, it's great to go there early because you get in some extra chest. And while you're working through your progression, the downside is if you maybe want to loop that in and go to pick up the Zen Thief Esper or item while you're there, so you may wait until you have some more GP under your belt or a more comfortable amount of GP under your belt. So those that go that route and wait a while may be looking for a long time because Locke is not promised or could be the only character that these three characters give us, and this could carve out a huge advantage for Falcon Hit if he's the only one that has lock for a while.
Well, Turdsman also did the same check and so has lock as well.
Yeah, the nice thing about lock is gonna give you access to all the locked, no pun intended, all of the locked rooms in World of Ruin Narsh, two of which are gonna be huge. The Narsh Weapon Shop, which gives you an Esper, gives you a choice either between an Esper and a high tier item, or another high tier item. And it will also give you access to the Cursed Shield, which can be, as I mentioned earlier, anywhere from 6 to 14 battles to get one of the best defensive items in the game, along with possibly one in Ultima.
It looks like Falcon Hit, however, is going to do the other lock check of Phoenix Cave. Meanwhile, there's not a character at Imperial Camp, so it's going to be an item or an Esper, I believe.
Yep. If that was a character there, that would not be an Imperial sprite. That would be the character fighting the other Imperials. It would not be an Imperial action. I really like this play here from Falcon Hit, because one, of course I do, and two, because you're literally right there in the neighborhood. You couldn't be any closer to Phoenix Cave by accident. And two, it's really popular, or it's really wise to lean into your new character's checks because they are more likely to contain your other characters. And lock opens up 3 checks: Phoenix Cave, South Figaro Cave, and the World of Balance, and the Narsh Weapon Shop. But the Narsh Weapon Shop cannot be a character; it can only be a high tier item or an Esper. So lock gives you 2 chances to give you another character here in the South Figaro Cave. And since you're right next door, since you're still in your looting phase at around 10 minutes, you're going to pass on the dragon right now, but you can go in and get some more chests and work some more progression and information into your looting phase.
Saberwolf's doing some shop management, and Tersman is going to go check out the Narsh shops, it looks like.
Yeah, so dragons do count as checks towards your 21 skip, your 21 checks that give you a Kefka Tower skip. Another nice little wrinkle about the Narsh Weapon Shop is, one, when you go into the Narsh World of Ruin and you talk to the Grandpa in the Relic Shop, or the Weapon Shop, he'll give you the choice. 2, if you happen to find Terra and you do Weltgate and you go behind there, and you can get access to the item you passed on, or the Esper, possibly if you passed on an Esper in the Narsh World of Ruin Weapon Shop, you can go back behind Terra's Weltgate check, which we do have, and you get access to another check right there when you pick that up, even if it's something you don't use. So you can get 2 checks very, very fast because of the Narsh Weapon Shop.
Yeah, and we saw just now in Saberwolf that he shelled out 22,000 for the Esper Shoat from the Tizen Thief.
Oh, nice. I believe that's the one that teaches Merton, or was that Siren?
So I think Siren may teach Merton. I don't know if we've actually seen what's on Shoat yet. I think Saberwolf may have been the first person to grab that. We do have Gar going down the Leyte River.
So Leyte River has some changes to it for Ultras League Season 5. Previously, I forget the amount of battles you could have, but it felt like forever. In Ultras League Season 5 and this current version of Bolt's Collide, now you only have 4 battles that will take place within Leyte River, so it's shortens a little bit. It's still not an ideal play, but I get why Gar is going here. There's 12 people in this race. Everybody's going to go to Imperial Camp, everybody's going to go to Collapsing House, so he's trying a little bit of a different path just to see if he can carve out an edge for himself, find something that nobody else found.
Yeah, and I believe at the end of the Phoenix Cave was a Yeti.
Yep. We got, as I mentioned earlier, when you find a new character, you like to lean into their checks because they tend to reward more characters. Characters are weighted and placed in the new character checks, and now we're at 5 characters for Falcon here. Everybody else is that we can see is still at 3.
Yeah, and it looks like Falcon Hit's taking a few random fights to get some levels before going in. With Yeti, Terra, and Locke, Falcon Hit has a lot of checks in Narsh.
Yeah, a smart routing play, which I think he'll do, is one, he needs to get some levels. He can't really take any more checks right now because he has 4 pieces of progression and he's still level 3. If he were to take any more, he would push the monsters to a point where he couldn't kill them, even the easier ones. So that's why he's taking that fight there.
And this is a good place to do it because you can just walk into this beginner's hut and just use the bucket of water to heal up.
Question for you guys. Now that you found Dumaro, for Falconhead anyway, are you thinking about the Coliseum at all?
Maybe. I don't think so. Because I know right now if I found 2 characters in the first 11 minutes, I know nobody else has found 2 characters in the first 11 minutes, so I'm just going to keep that momentum going. The Coliseum...
Yeah, with this, I was just going to say, with this combination of characters, I think I would do what Falconhead does and head up to Narsh, because like you got so many overlapping checks there. Just get some levels to get ahead of scaling and then go clear out as much of that as you can.
Yeah, maybe in a smaller setting, a 4 or 5 person race, I'd slow down a little bit just to kind of guarantee myself. But in a 12-person race, somebody's going to have the race of their life or the race of the month. So you really don't want to loot too much.
And I think there's an opportunity to check Coliseum after just doing all the checks at Narch as well. So the final boss at the river appears to be tunnel armor. That should not be too difficult. And Tersman and Falconhead are both exploring Narsh, and I did not quite see where Saberwolf was.
Saberwolf seemed to be doing some shopping. I don't exactly know where he is, but it's an offering at the end of the Leet River. So we already have one of those for sale in a shop. Now Gar doesn't have to get one because he got one at the end of the Leet River. That still feels bad to get a dead check Leet River here, Joker Mage, but at least he gets a bunch of levels, whereas Falconhead has just been walking around outside the bucket. So at least Gar has been moving forward in the seed, whereas Falconhead picking up Odin in the weapon shop really hasn't.
Yeah, and it looks like the other option for Odin, I didn't quite miss it, but it looked like, I think it was Dragonhorn, which would make that jump character much more useful, and all you have to do is get past the Welk, and then you can go claim that as well.
Yeah, there is a HP plus 100 bonus on that Odin Esper. The spells were disgusting, and the Odin Summon is great because it will do instant death, which is nice for tiers 2 and 1 on Final Kefka, but we've got a Dabbing Yeti, folks, and I think this is at the Welk spot, is it not?
Yeah, I don't think Tersman went too far deep into this yet, and it looks like Falconhead's just taking random fights in World of Ruin Narsh to get some more levels.
Yeah, I think what Falconhead is doing is get a little closer to the scaling, go up Narsh, do the dragon, do the Tritok spot, and then do the Yamaro Cave spot, and that will kind of level him out with that dragon fight for scaling. And Falconhead doesn't know this, but Gar just walked past Celeste in that spot, so he's going to have 6 characters by the time he's done with Narsh here. So again, that's huge. That's just taking that momentum you found earlier from fighting character number 1, and as I say that, he's wiped.
Yeah, and we do have 3 of the on-stream characters converging on Narsh at this moment, probably, again, just because that's sort of where the character checks are leading them, and that's also where, like, looting is leading them. But Saberwolf is doing Imperial Camp at the moment.
Yeah, so the Curse Shield battle was 14, I believe we saw it. I think maybe while you were away, Glue. Glue, is that too many battles for you, even with the prospect of perhaps getting Ultima out of it?
Yeah, that's about 5 battles too many. I think 9 at this point in the game will be the cutoff. Maybe 10 is the maximum if you find it first. But 14 is definitely way too many, because if you think about it, you may not even do 30 battles the entire seed, and to spend half of those with a character cursed and weak to every other element that the Curse Shield makes you weak to, it's a real risky play.
Yeah, and it looks like the reward for Welk was a Snow Muffler and also getting access to that Dragon Horn. Yeah, and meanwhile, Saberwolf is still just working through the Imperial Camp. And Gar, I believe, is now through Welk as well. And Falcon is still taking on random fights, it looks like.
Yeah, Saberwolf fighting off that Mexican dessert there, the flan, yum, in Imperial Camp. Gar not going back to go get the Dragon Horn after grabbing the Snow Muffler, so that's 2 dead checks for him in a row. He's heading up to Kefka at Narsh. Little does he know that he could have done this with having a full party, but he's going to have to leave one of his 2 characters off to go through this particular fight. This Imperial Camp, although these fights are pretty easy, it's rather slow because this fight basically regenerates itself multiple times, which is kind of annoying. So
yeah, and we see the Kefka and Narsh fight is not going to be a character check.
Yeah, that's fine. I think Gar is just looking for more rewards at this point because he has had 2 of his checks be dead. It looks like Turdsman is going to finally buy that Tizen Thief for 25,000 in the World of Balance, so he is up to 2 Espers now. Saberwolf will get his 3rd after this fight, and Falconhead is still doing some grinds on the way up to the top of World of Ruin Narsh. I think he's going to go get that dragon and that 6th character for him.
And we see Gar doing a fairly standard strategy for dealing with Kefka and Marsh. Just stand there, wait for all the green guys to go away, and then sneak past.
Do we have Blitz? I don't think we have Blitz. So if we had Blitz, we could do this fight the vanilla way and just use Pummel. It will not get us any XP or GP if we do that. So we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way, and we're going to throw lightning at it. Let's see where Saberwolf goes next. A lot of runners like to combo Imperial Camp back-to-back with Barren Falls because of their proximity, as there's a high 5 with Turdsman going into the camp as he comes out of it. And you get a full heal before you go into that fight, but it looks like it's another Leet River play from Saberwolf, so he is going to be thoroughly disappointed at the end of this here. Another Merton instance and Kier 2 on that Shiva.
And I don't know if we've seen anything for dealing with calmness yet, but that's another thing that they'll probably be keeping an eye out for.
I think I saw Vanish as a spell on one of these Espers, but that is terrible calmness protection. Yeah, we want either Golem or Fenrir, more likely than not, as we will see what Gar gets, and it is Kieran. That's a decent Esper. It casts regen on your entire party. So if you're looking for something in the final battle that isn't, one of the other things you mentioned before, that's a decent one at least. And it's the blue Durgan for Falcon. Thankfully, we've learned Bolt 2, which is the weakness of this dragon here. And Turdsman into Imperial Camp. Saberwolf, with the good game knowledge there, knows you could actually get a free heal if you go take a nap in the Returner's hideout. So it looks like he's going to prep up for the Leet River. And Terra is down over on Falconhead's screen. So this is one of the issues with grabbing so much progression early, is that your enemies are going to be tough and you're still going to be on level 3. And the blue dragon has a lot of AoE attacks that is very hard to resist because there's not a lot of water resistance in Worlds Collide outside of the Tortoise Shield, which is pretty much terrible otherwise. So
yeah, and we see Gar doing the Mount Colts check, which is another one of Sabin's. It's a bit further away from most of his, but it's also basically a walking tour with boss fight at the end.
Yeah, I really like the Mount Colts play, just because it's never usually on a lot of runners' minds, even though it's really not that long of a check. It just seems long, I think, because in the vanilla game, this took forever to get around to the boss with all those forced encounters. We do give our runners Moogle Charms to prevent that in the randomizer, though. Go ahead, sorry about that.
Right. Yeah, I was just going to say, I think also it's another reason is just a bit further away from Imperial Camp and Barren Falls, which is, right next to Ghost Train as well, so you can loop all 3 of those really quickly.
All right, and we do have some octopus soup here at the end of Mount Colts, and this is Ultros number 3, so this is the one that if we had Sketch, we could end this fight right away. Unfortunately, I don't think we do, so we're just going to electrocute the octopus, which is something that you should probably do for meal prep, but Nonetheless, Gar gets through it. Sorry.
Yeah, and Ultros shows up. There's 4 Ultros fights in the vanilla game, and there's 4 in Worlds Collide. And it's kind of interesting that this is the actual first time we've seen Ultros on screen, because he's normally shows up quite frequently.
Yeah, so getting an Esper reward out of that. So Gar taking the shiny stone lead. Meanwhile, Falcon Hit takes down the first dragon there. I didn't actually see what the reward from the dragon was. So dragons give a lot of XP, 50 MP, so you can basically learn any spell, and we'll drop a nice item. That is Ultima on Palador from Mount Colts. Oh, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, that saves you having to get the cursed shield uncursed. And we also are going to Esper Cave, one of Realms checks.
Yeah, so we do see the sprite is a ghost sprite, so that means this is not a character here. It's an Esper or an item. And we've got Senior, Senior, Sriracha, Super Behemoth for Falcon Hit here at the Tritox spot, which will only reward an Esper or an item as well.
Yeah, and Falcon Hit's already on 5 characters, so it could be just trying to build up the Esper count at this point.
Yeah, for sure. We know that from peeking the Yeti Cave in the World of Balance that we have another character here at the end.
Oh, that's
of the Yeti
right.
Spot. So this will be character 6. Well, this will be either an Esper or an item, and then it'll be character 6 at the Yeti Cave check. But I think he's doing this just because of check density, right? There's 1 check for Lock, 1 check for the Dragon, 1 check for Tritok, and 1 check for Yeti Cave. That's 4 in one spot. That is huge value here in this one area of the map. Unfortunately, not getting those scimitar procs. That would be nice to slice and dice this boss up real fast.
Meanwhile, we do have the 3 Stooges at Esper Cave.
Yeah, so...
Like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It looks like Gar's already taken care of the top one, Curly, who I think can cast life to resurrect his friends.
Yes. And we'll also heal using the Pearlwind lore. So it's nice if you have a lore user in your party, but it's not nice because you then have to kill the enemies that have just healed. And that is Torado with yet another instance of Merton on it. I think we've found 4 Espers this seed with Merton. I think that's got to be a record, right?
It's definitely uncommon, and one would hope that they have enough fire shields to go around to make use of that.
Yeah, so I think we saw 1 flame shield, 1 thunder shield, and then 1 red jacket. I think we looted in Phoenix Cave, which only Falcon Hit has been to. So there is opportunity for Merton protection as it is Stray in Esper Mountain there. Saberwolf done with the Leet River will grab their offering, and Turdsman is giving us some new information here at the South Figaro Cave. This is another one of Locke's checks. Yeah, I haven't seen any Rage Rings or Blizzard Orbs yet for that kind of nullification either.
Okay, yeah, and we've already seen the weapon shop, and we've seen Phoenix Cave, so this is the last lock check we haven't seen yet.
Gar gonna see their lock holding up the house here at the collapsing house, and it is the bigger snail presenter here for Falcon Hit. We don't really want this monster in a box fight, so we're gonna run away.
Is Falcon Hit still looking for an offering? Because I thought he would have already had one.
Well, we found one at the Leet River, and then they were for sale in one of the shops.
I'm pretty sure there was a chest in South Figaro that also had one, so there's plenty of it around.
Oh,
Falcon
interesting.
Hit didn't go to South Figaro basement because he did Sealed Gate. One of the problems with Sealed Gate is that it could take over 3 minutes, so if you're trying to cut seconds off of your time, as you do when you get up in the higher up tiers, you really can't loot that much. You can't loot the basement, some towns, and the Sealed Gate Cave, or else you just kind of put yourself too far behind some of the more talented runners. So that's why he passed on. He and Gar passed on the South Figaro Cave, despite there being an offering down there. He does know where the offering is in the World of Balance Zen. He could also be checking for Gigantos because he's so far behind scaling. And just to catch up, because you seen him die to Blue Dragon, and he died to a Water Edge from just a regular monster. He's not really comfortable with scaling right now, so he could be looking for Gigantos.
And it's Dadaluma at the Yeti spot who is gating the Celeste, which will be character number 6 if Falcon Hit can get through it.
Even though the scaling is a little bit ahead of him, Dadaluma is a little bit of a joke fight, so he'll be fine here. He'll maybe run into some more trouble later on though if he can't get back up to that scaling.
What would be some good options for Falcon Hit to try and get back ahead of scaling at this point?
Late River.
Yeah, somewhere where you have some mob fights that won't push scaling but give you experience. You could maybe try some dragons, but the problem
Now that he's getting Celeste Opera House disruption.
Yeah. Or two, sometimes you just kind of hope for a dead check. That way you give yourself more information, cross more things off your plate that you have to go to. And two, you get the XP without pushing up the scaling. So basically mobs are you hope it's a dead check, as silly as that sounds.
Did Saberwolf get luck?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
Okay, I was wondering why. It's because he did clear Welk, but didn't go and check, and that's because he doesn't have that option yet. And we do say Coliseum check on Garce.
Yeah, we got a Minerva for Revivifies, but we gotta take down a Mover. Problem with a Mover has pretty high evasion. So I'm not sure what Realm's ability was off the top of my head. I think it was GP Rain.
GP Rain.
Yeah. So here are the pros and cons of the Coliseum all in one fight. The pros is you can turn some antidotes into experience eggs sometimes. The con is sometimes you start a fight and it's a fight that you can't win and you can't lose or you can't hit somebody, so you have the risk of getting stuck here in a while. So it took him 2 turns to trigger 1 GP Rain there, but he very easily could have had a time sunk there with a little less fortunate RNG.
Minerva is probably worth it though, for at least unless it gets really unfortunate fight, but it is a very powerful armor piece.
I guess that depends on your definition of worth it. Is any piece of armor in this game worth it sometimes? In my opinion, no. Because the offense in Final Fantasy VI is so overpowered that you can place defense on the afterburner and almost never pay for it. The only parts of Final Kefka you really need it for is Tier 1. And then Tier 2 for one part of it. So you can get away a lot of times with having pretty crappy armor as long as you don't push scaling up too high.
Counterpoint, Merton.
Yeah, that's a good point too. He has the one Thunder Shield from the Sealed Gate. He has a Terror which can go ahead and throw the Minerva on. And then obviously a 1 in 3 chance anybody else can wear the Minerva.
There is also Minerva at the Phantom Train, which Saberwolf reset out of too. So, a lot of dead checks early on in this seed.
You remember that race not that long ago when he did the Phantom Train just for a Flame Shield? I'm surprised he'd pass on Minerva there.
I guess you owe me $1, huh?
Yes. All right. Well, I owe you 1, and now you owe me like 4. So,
We got the Barren Falls fight now, and it's I think the Marshal and 2 random fight enemies.
Yeah. The cool thing about the Marshal fight is the sprites or the monsters that accompany Marshal have been replaced with some that make the fight a little harder. Some make the fight almost too hard, depending on who you ask and when you fight them. But Fortress is on the lower tier of difficulty for the bosses you could fight at this spot.
And Turdsman has gotten through Mount Colts and gotten his Palador.
Yeah, so Palador, as we mentioned earlier, teaches Ultima. It's still at a pretty good spot for Turdsman at the 33-minute mark. There's still plenty of time to throw it on a character or two here. Looks like Gar is going up Boulder Ruin Narsh. Yeah, so Gar did not do the finish case, so he doesn't have his Yeti, so he won't be able to get Celeste, but he'll still get his Blue Dragon encounter and then his Tritox spot, which was an Esper.
We're about to see the reward for Barren Falls.
Yeah, this is one of the longest scenes in World Collide right here, because yeah, wait a while.
That's Shadow.
Ooh, that is Shadow. Very nice.
Meanwhile, Tersman is going up Mount Zozo. I think this is World of Balance Zozo for Terra's check, because I don't think anyone's found Cyan yet for the World of Ruin check.
No, this for Terra. Yeah, this is the World of Balance for Terra. He does have access to Warp Zone, so he can get up there, do the fight, warp out. If did Falcon Head open the right check? I think it was the one that's kind of out of the way and the hidden wall. So if he kind of skims through this, he may miss it. We'll see here in a second. And the one kind of out of the way, and he gets it. That's huge for Falcon Hit, because now he doesn't have to go back to World of Balance in and shell out 65,000 GP for it. So for Saberwolf, Shadow is going to open up some interesting checks. You can head on up the Gal Manor for a free check, if you will, which is a chance at a character, an Esper, or an item, which he's doing first. You also get a nice little convenient item shop on top of the Chocobo with that Rogue Imperial there. You can hop on over to the World of Ruin and do the Cave on the Veldt, which is a very peekable check. What we mean by peekable is you can see what the reward is based on the sprite laying on the ground, where you typically find Realm if you don't save Shadow, or Shadow if you save Shadow. Spoiler. But the most controversial check that Shadow opens, if you will, is the Floating Continent. The pro to Floating Continent is it's 3 checks built into one, with 2 of them being guaranteed pieces of progression, Esper or item, along with another chance at an Esper or item. The con is that it can take you about anywhere from 9 to 11 minutes to get through it, depending on the difficulty of the bosses you fight. So it's guaranteed progression and a decent chunk of it. It's just a huge time sink and commitment you have to play into.
Right, and then meanwhile, we do see that Hedon is at the Dadaluma spot in World of Balance Zozo.
So now that Falconhead has looted the basement, found the Dragon Horn and the Offering and the fixed dice, do you think he's sweating knowing that he didn't go there first and some other runners probably did immediately drink Sloot?
1000%, because there's 12 people in this race, so I think the only people that would fade the basement are going to be Falconhead and Gar. So in the back of his mind, he's thinking he knows at least 9 or 10 other people went down there. 2, he knows he's wiped a couple times, so you may see some very risky plays coming up shortly from Falconhead. What I mean by risky plays is just going places, getting out of the menus altogether, going places someone else wouldn't go. If you've wiped twice, you found some strong stuff at places other people go, you may be a little behind. And Falconhead's goal is to win this thing. It's not to just be comfortable and have a respectable time. He wants to be number 1, so we're going to see some catch-up mechanics out of him here soon.
It does look like Tersman's having a slightly rough time with Hedon. It can be a very nasty fight from what I understand.
Yeah, so the nice thing about Haydn is he's weak to fire and pearl. The downside to Haydn is him and all of his children will inflict some nasty status elements on you. So you can take some of them out to kind of taper that. The bad news is if you take too many of them out, Haydn kind of gets mad at you and starts spamming Grand Train. And Ground Train is a pretty powerful defense ignoring attack. But no problem whatsoever for Tersman here. He's taking down Haydn, and he will finish his ascent up the Zozo Tower.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Saberwolf has gotten his Stray Esper, and Gar has gotten the Torado Esper.
Very nice. And Imperial Cap per Falconhead. That's going to give him some more information about where some other people are at. But it's going to be an Esper form. So even though Falconhead had those 2 wipes, he's still at 5. He'll be at 6 and 6 here. That's still a really good pace for around 41, 42 minutes to an Ultra League seed.
Yeah, everyone else on stream is still only at 4 characters, so Falconhead does have that advantage at the moment.
Yeah, because we know where Shadow is, we know it's not Phoenix Cave gated, but it also means either you have to go to Barren Falls or Phoenix Cave at this point. Another dead check at Zozo for Turdsman, unfortunately. But yeah, it looks like Gar's going back for some more Minervas, so he's gonna really lean into his Merton move here. And Saberwolf, is gonna head on over to Floating Continent. Floating Continent, you'll have 3 fixed encounters here on the airship, and you fight boss number 1. Then you get pushed off the airship, you fight boss number 2. You do get a story heal after you get pushed off the airship. Once you land on the continent, you get the access to your first check, which is a guaranteed piece of progression. Then, unfortunately, you have to walk through the entire floating continent to the Atma weapon spot. Fight that. You either get an Esper or Heights your item, then you do the escape, and after you complete the escape, you get access to character item number 2. Or, excuse me, character Esper.
And so there's the potential for Saberwolf to get quite a bunch done with just this one area, but it is a long area.
Yeah. The cool thing about doing this for Saberwolf, and no one else on screen has, is it's going to put him on a different path than everybody else. Floating Continent, we know, isn't going to be required because you could go with the Phoenix Cave, but it may be required if you don't go to Phoenix Cave. So that will put him ahead of Gar and Tersman, at least as far as finding possibly some characters that you have to find. So that's the pro, again, the pro to Floating Continent when it kicks in. It takes a while to get there, but if you had to get there anyways and you're the first one there, you carve out a nice little heads up play for yourself.
Well, speaking of new areas, we do see Turdsman going to Onzer's mansion to do Realms check here. And I think Gar has gone to World of Ruin Coliseum to fight a dragon.
Yeah, now that he has enough Minervas to outfit an army, all he has to do is get Merton on a couple characters, and he'll be rocking and rolling the rest of the seed unless he runs into a Flaming or a Magimaster.
I think is that Poltergeist as the first boss fight for Floating Continent?
Oh, that's Doom.
That's
is
Doom.
One of the 3 statues that are shuffled in the boss pool for Worlds Collide. He's the easier of the 3 statues that you would count in Kefir's Tower and the original Final Fantasy VI, but he can still be a little difficult.
Yeah, the 3 statues are some of the more powerful and dangerous enemies in the game anyway.
So Gar is going to get a Magus Rod for his efforts for taking down the Earth Dragon, or excuse me, the Dirt Dragon. And he also gets an Illumina, which is very, very, very juicy. The best offensive item in the game, arguably, and one of the better defensive items as well, because of all of the evasion statistics it gives you.
Falcon's about to get his shadow, and we do have our second Ultras fight on Turdsman's at Owner's Mansion. And that Ultras fight is done.
Oh, very nice. And none of the Ultra fights in this game are, as long as you're not buying scaling, are too scary. Only Ultras 4 is kind of inconvenient because it doesn't reward any experience or ability points.
It looks like the Ragnarok sword.
Yeah, that's a Ragnarok for Housers, which is not too terrible. It's similar to the Illumina. It will just proc Flare instead of Pearl, but it does not get the back row effect bonus that Illumina does, but not a bad reward at all.
You can definitely make use of it.
Yeah, and even if you don't want to swing it and you want to spam a spell or something with it, it's still a fantastic stat buff item. It gives as much magic power as a Magus Rod does. Plus, it will boost all of your other stats as well.
And Turdsman's going for his Yeti, and I'm not sure where Falcon Head is. Oh, is this a Magitech facility?
Yeah, so remember, Falcon is the only one that has access to Celeste right now. He has 7 characters. The first 2 checks in Magitech cannot be a character. I don't know his checks off the top of my head, but there's a decent chance I think we see him here go all the way through this, just to possibly leaning the skip a little bit.
Falconet has 15 checks completed.
15 checks completed. Actually, with that in mind, I don't think he's going to complete this. He's going to do the first 2 and then warp out. That will put him at 17 checks, and then he'll get his last 4 checks for skip somewhere else. So he's really just Esper hunting here. Because if you think about it, you're at 15 checks and you have 6 Espers and you need 3 more. No matter what, you're going to get to 18 checks. So there's really no point in going through the end of this. You have a lot of options still open and available to you. That can be faster than doing the train carbide and 2 more bosses. So you do the 2 possible Espers here, you warp out, and you go do a couple more and just see where it takes you.
And we just saw Saberwolf get through the second floating continent boss fight, which was number 128. Gar is currently doing the Onzer matching check, which was the Ultras fight, so that shouldn't be too hard.
He's going to get a Ragnarok here. So no progression, but
some power at least.
Yeah, so a little more magic power on one of his Merton casters.
We got Flame Eater as the, I think, first boss fight for Magitech facility.
Yeah, we got Flame Eater in the Ifrit spot. After this, we'll climb some stairs, fight the number 128 spot. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I think we're going to warp out. Here's an interesting play for Falcon Hit. It's been a while since he's been to a shop, so he has a decent amount of GP, and he hasn't been to Owzer's yet. So he may do an Owzer's play, and then while he's there, just hit up the auction house, the Esper peak, because the auction house does count as a check for the Esper spot. So that's another spot where he can work in some progression and get some more checks towards his check skip.
Yeah, auction house can be a bit annoying, especially if you have to get through all the other like junk items first. But it can be very rewarding if you get what you need there.
Yeah, if you go there with about over 90,000 GP and buy the items that can't reappear, you can get through the auction house pretty fast and kind of taper the amount of times the RNG can stick it to you. Esper was not at the first spot for Falconet, but again, there's one more. And again, it doesn't. Now we're at the point where he has 16 checks and he has 3 more Espers. So no matter what, he's going to end up at 19 checks before he can even go to Kefka Tower to begin with. So even if this one is dead as well, I still think he's going to warp out and go somewhere else.
And that's Narapa at the 128 spot.
Yep.
And Gar is doing the Figaro tunnel check, or South Figaro cave check, that is Locke's check, and it's just the Inferno Striker fight. And already done with it.
Alright, so let's see. I can never remember this. Is it D? There it is. It's Discord. So if you like what you're seeing on screen, or if you're just generally interested or curious and want to start playing Worlds Collide for yourself, hop on into our Discord, which the Schwann's just conveniently placed in the chat for you. We have numerous resources to get you started and a lot of willing people to help you out get started. Joker himself hasn't been a part of our community very long, but as you can see, we already got him on SpeedGaming, up and going, doing comms on a race. We'd love to have you. We'd love to meet you. So there's the link if you want to come give us a check out.
Okay, and that second check at in the Esper or Magitech facility was Fenrir, so we've got calmness protection for Falcon Hit now. Meanwhile, Saberwolf encountered Doomgaze at the I think it was the 3rd boss fight for Floating Castle.
Yeah, that's the Atma spot. So this could be an Esper item for Saberwolf, and then he'll have to do the escape. Looks like Falcon Hit's heading on over to Esper Mountain.
That's Esper Mountain, and Turdsman is found the tentacles at the Molblas fight.
Ooh, this is kind of so the thing with the Molblas fight is you fight a weak version of Humbaba, and he's not too difficult to take down, but he does take away 2 of your characters. for the ensuing fight. So your party is kind of compromised here. And Tentacles is one of those bosses that you don't like to see when your party's compromised. He's not too scary when your party's at full health, but when you're a little bit weak and divided, he can do that. He can grab your characters, and you just kind of can't do anything about it. You just gotta sit there and wait till he shows you some mercy.
And the Magitech facility check did put Falcon on 8 Espers, so he is 1 Esper from unlocking Final Kefka, and probably only a few checks away from getting the KT skip.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier with the first dead one,
he's at 18. Well, okay, he's at 17 during this fight, and will be at 18 when it's done.
So when he's done, what he could do is go to Opera House Dragon. That's 1 check that takes all of 2 minutes, and then he could take the middle path up Kefka's Tower. He forgot Reflect was cast on low right there for a second. But he needs 3 more checks. So what he can do is Opera House real fast, and then he can take his full party up the middle part of Kefka's Tower. Take out the Toilet Atma, take out the dragon that is just behind him. It takes roughly 3 minutes with a little bad luck. 4 minutes if you're really unlucky. Actually, it takes like 2 minutes 30 seconds. It'll probably take him 2 minutes 30 seconds as long as it's nothing too nasty. So within 5 minutes, he'll have 3 more checks, and he'll have his skip if he goes that route.
So Guard's going to get Shadow here. They'll put him on 5 characters, I think. And meanwhile, Guardian is the last boss of Floating Continent.
Yeah, so that's Esper number 9 for Falconet. He has requirements to go beat the game now. It's just a matter if he's going to lean into a skip or if he's just going to go straight there and do it.
It looks like he is checking for the dragon at Opera House.
Yeah, so I'm a really big fan of this play. I know the check says 21 skips, but in the back of my mind, it's really only an 18 or 19 skip check because it takes a runner about 7-ish minutes to get to the switches within Kefka's Tower. Plus, you gotta fight whatever that Inferno spot with a divided party. As I mentioned some times earlier, it takes you about 2 minutes to do this dragon, and then 2 minutes and 30 seconds to full party the 2 check requirements at the Toilet Atma, and then ensuing drag with his Kefka's Tower, and then a little bit of flying time. So in 5 minutes, you can go ahead and get the skip, and then just re-enter the tower at the switch spot you would be at anyways if you were to just walk through. So you're shaving off 2 minutes. You're taking on 2 dragons, which is a huge pool of XP you're going to throw onto your full party. Plus, you're getting 3 high-tier items that you can possibly equip. And if you've been fading defense all-season like I typically do, that's when your Behemoth suits and Minervas and your cat hoods can really come into play. You just slap on somebody for the heck of it, and you're good to go. So you're getting 3 high-tier items. You're getting a massive pool of XP. It's the play to make in Ultra Sleep Season 5.
And we should also point out that I think Falcon Hit so far is still the only one who has found Celeste, which means that he is right now the only one who has access to Magitech facility, and thus the only one who has access to Fenrir at this point. So that is also going to be a huge advantage going in if they don't have a solution to calm this. And it looks like we are going to go ahead and check out the tower at this point.
Yeah, did we lose Gar, or is he AFK, or do I need to refresh my stream?
His stream is skipping.
Oh, okay. So Falcon Hit must have heard me because he's going straight up the middle with the full party. Again, if you're seeing this for the first time and you're a newish or a returning Ultra League player and you haven't done this before, this is the play to make. Skip is 19 in my opinion. Again, it's not a 21 skip check, it's a 19. Do this, you will save minutes off of your time, plus you will gain extra levels. It's a huge move to exploit in Ultra League Season 5.
Also, Gar has checked the Veld Cave on Shadows checks and found Edgar.
Very nice. So he'll just need 1 more Esper, and Edgar gives at least one quick check to Throne Room, which gotta get them to the Promised Land.
That's Rexol guarding that Edgar, though.
This is where that ice rod he bought earlier, if he didn't crack it, may come into play, because or we can just do 10,000 Illumina swings. Tomato, I guess. But Rexol does have high magic defense, so ice rods, all breakables, rods and shields will ignore magic defense, and then again Rexol is weak to ice. You wouldn't know that if you casted just regular Ice 2 on him, because it would seem like it does nothing, but that rod will pierce his magic defense and do a lot of damage.
Do we know how many checks Scar's done?
The Swamps will tell us in just a moment.
17.
So he's a bit further away from KT Skip, unfortunately.
I mean, he could take... Yeah, because he's already done 2 dragons, right? You do want to take dragons, but you don't, because they also scale up the enemy levels as well as your own party, right? You'd rather just do either free checks or something like that at this point. Dead checks would be ideal.
Quick dead checks too.
Yeah, that's one of the powers of the skip too. Because in Ultras League Season 4, on average, you would run anywhere between 3 to 4 dead checks in a seed. A little less if you're lucky, a little more, or a lot more sometimes if you're really unfortunate. So with that in mind, if you need 9 Espers and you need to find 3 more characters, that's 12, plus your average 3 to 4 dead checks, that puts you anywhere from 16 to 17 just by default. So if you can conveniently route in, 1 to 2 dragons and then 1 to 2 other quick checks, that puts you right at the skip with very minimal time added, just a handful of minutes. Plus you're saving that 7 minutes, subtract the few minutes added, it always adds up to a faster time.
And we've got a Kefka fight already on screen. It looks like Kefka is the Doomgaze spot, and Garn went and found that. That could result in his 9th Esper too.
Yeah, it could. The Doomgaze spot can reward an Esper or an item. It cannot reward a character.
Yeah, considering we don't have Setzer, that is an accidental Doomgaze run-in, which is actually going to save Gar's bacon in terms of skip, right?
Yeah, now that makes the skip check a lot more convenient. You can shave off whatever time he was going to do that last check for his skip. Just shave that off because he ran into it on accident there. Not an Esper, but again, he has to do 1 more Esper anyway, so...
Yeah, I think that was just another Dragon Horn. I'm pretty sure he already has one from one of the earlier chests.
I think that's his 3rd Dragon Horn, so kudos to him. Maybe you can trade this for some Pokemon cards or something, I don't know.
Oh, he didn't buy Shoot yet.
No, he did not.
I think he shelled out the big bucks just to get it done. That looked like it was like maybe 50,000, whereas I think the other version of the Thief was only 25,000.
It was 34 in the World of Ruin, 25 in the other world. So,
okay.
But 9,000, you can't take that 9,000 GP with into the new world after you save this one. So it's nothing to cry over here. The big question is going to be, what does he do to get his skip requirements if he's going to lean into the check? That's what I'm wondering here.
Yeah, he's at 19 now before the tower, so he'll probably do the same thing Falcon did too.
Meanwhile, Turdsman was trying to check out the the auction house. There are glowing stones there, so there is an Esper there, but he got a box instead. So I think he just reset out to skip the cutscene.
Yeah, it is a few seconds faster to reset out if you don't get the Esper and it's available. It's just a matter of how many times do you want to reset out trying to try for it. I'm not aware of his GP situation, so he could buy out the items that aren't replicatable. Looks like Gar isn't paying attention to what I had the Kool-Aid I'm pitching, because he's going straight into the tower.
Meanwhile, Saberwolf is on 8 Espers and 5 characters, so just needs 1 more of each for his KT unlock. Final Kefka unlock.
Yeah, and he'll get it here with his he'll get his last character required here at this block, because we know it's Edgar. And Falcon Hit just having no difficulty in the tower so far. Down goes well for him. He's 2 more fights away, and he'll be in the final battle, it looks like.
And again, he also has the advantage of being the only one on stream right now who has Fenrir.
Yeah, so he's the only one with columnist protection. Everyone else has those pretty good offense. So if you have kind of B-tier offense, not having columnist protection can be a huge problem. But when you have some really good offense, that's a little diverse across your party. It's not as crippling as it can seem like. As long you would be surprised in how little you can take down tier 4 Final Kefka with. So even if your B or C characters are only making it through, you still have a pretty good chance to make it through the fight as long as you have a solid understanding of Kefka's battle script.
And Falcon Hit has found number 24. That's not quite Magic Master.
Yeah, and the Muddle Merton, that always really stings. Oh no, he's got double overflow. And Saban just jumped, and I don't think he's going to land on the left side of the screen when he comes down. That goes wrong. Fantastic work there by Saban. I don't think you can jump on yourself, though, so he's in no danger of wiping. Looks like we got a raid here from Fitka and Double Down. I guess y'all are racing as y'all are running at the same time. Welcome on in, gentlemen. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know who Double Down was, he is the commissioner of Ultra League, which is what we are showcasing tonight. So he does a lot of the work behind the scenes to make sure this event can't happen. So one, we appreciate him. Two, he also has the shiniest head I've ever seen in my life. So if you're a fan of beautiful shiny heads, give Double Down a follow.
And Falcon Hit has gone through the number 24.
Yep, and again, mentioned earlier, can't, when you're muddled and you have jump, you can't jump on yourself. So beautiful, illustrious sheen indeed, my friend. S tier, it is the Illumina of shines.
So Falcon Hit is through at least one of the statue spots. I didn't see if he's done any others. Gar is meanwhile heading to the switches that leads to the statues and Guardian.
Yeah, if you need any more proof than the power of the skip check, look no further than the top right of your screen and the top left of your screen. Falcon Hit double dove the middle to take out the Toilet Atma spot. He got an experience egg for that, which isn't super beneficial this late in the seed. But he dove down, took out the Toilet Atma, got a high tier item, took out the Ensuing Dragon, got another high tier item, but more importantly, he got the skip, so he got the warp on ahead to the switches, and that's almost the time difference between the two at this moment right now. And looks like we got a French vanilla Poltergeist spot here, which is not fun. Poltergeist is not a fun guy to find at one of the statue spots because he has really high defensive stats that are kind of hard to pierce with an Illumina. And two, he can do that. He just likes to cast stop and kill people for no reason. So what Falcon
natural magic Celeste has stop on it. What luck?
Ooh.
But Celeste just got bodied, so maybe not.
As long as he gets a few more procs, though, he'll be fine because his procs will pierce Poltergeist's rather robust magic defense. But if he gets a couple more procs, he'll be fine. But at any moment, this fight can be over unless he picks up Celeste.
I think Saberwolf is checking Figaro Throne Room to see if that's number 9 for Espers.
I don't think we're sure what's there yet because only Gar found him and he didn't go there. And oh no, that's a Flare Star. But we do have Merton. Oh, as I say that, we don't have it. So Poltergeist is immune to stop, which is kind of ironic because he loves to cast it on you. But immune to stop, so this is going to give Falcon Hit a chance to kind of get his feet back underneath him. He'll have a few turns to get locked back up and get some restored HP before Poltergeist starts acting again.
Turdsman, meanwhile, has taken on the Water Dragon at Narsh. Or the Blue Dragon, I should say.
Blue, Water, Aqua. It doesn't matter what his name is. And oh no, down goes Celeste.
He's blue, anyway.
Yeah, Saberwolf is doing the mobilize check. I think that is an Esper, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was an Esper. Turdsman had showed us that earlier, so this will give him his last piece of progression.
Oh, it's Bahamut. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, those poor kids don't have anything in the world left to them except an Esper, and Saberwolf's going to take it away from them.
Just has to get through the tentacles with only 2 characters.
Yeah, but I think he'll be fine. He's got quite a few levels underneath him, and he has a really good offense.
Turdsman looks like he's going for the... If I'm correct, that's the Yeti Cave. He's going for Celeste.
Yeah, because he has gone to Phoenix Cave. So this will give him Celeste. This will give him his 6th character. And he'll just need to track down that one last Esper. The bad news for Turdsman is I don't think South Figaro Prison Basement was an Esper, and neither was Magitech 1. So if he leans into the Celeste stuff to find that Esper, it'll be a little bit of time for him.
Gar is riding the Ghost Train while Falcon Hit is in the final fight now.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we like to play a little game here where we guess how long it's going to take Falcon Hit to take down Final Kefka. The timer will start when the church bells dings and we see Tier 1 on our screen. The timer will end when we see the final crack of Tier 4. And what you want to do is get your guesses in the chat on how long you think that will be. Kefka fight typically take anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes. Falcon has some pretty good offense, so I think he'll be on the smaller or the lower end of that. And I'm going to put out there an 8:25 guess. So
I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough at this point to put a guess on. Maybe I'll just say 9 minutes to cover the outside base.
So you got until the end of Tier 1 to get your guesses in the chat. If you guess it right, the Swans will give you $1 million.
Subtract a few zeros off of that. I'll pay you $1.
Okay. You will win possibly $1 from the Swans. I say possibly because he's been promised me a few bucks the past couple of days, and I haven't gotten it. So if you are closest, we will do this not Family Feud, the Price is Right style. Whoever is closest without going over will win.
Did we specify what nationality that dollar would be? Is it Australian?
If it's euros, I don't want it.
It's $1 Monopoly money, actually. The yellow one.
Beautiful. So again, end of Tier 1, which is what Falcon is taking on right now. It's how long you have to get your guess in to win $1 Monopoly dollar.
And we can see Gar using the offering fixed dice combo to try and take down Poltergeist now.
Yeah, that's a fixed dice. His damage is not subjected to Poltergeist's huge pool of defensive statistics. So while at this point in the game, you would kind of like to transition away from an offering fixed dice, boss like Poltergeist, though, it's very much an option.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we do see that Saberwolf did get his final Kefka unlocked. Do we know what his check count is at?
One.
Saberwolf is 17.
Cue the music. He's at 17.
Turdsman, I don't know because his tracker is not up.
Oh, he doesn't have the link to the new tracker. That's all right.
Okay,
Well,
Falcon Hit is on tier 2 of Final Kefka now.
So Tier 2 has 4 parts to him. You have Tiger Face, which is the part that looks like a tiger. The bottom right of your screen, that guy, starting with his 3rd turn, will start launching some pretty nasty status elements, among other things, at your face. He is weak to ice, so you kind of want to put him up in the upper echelon of priorities of tiers you want to deal with here. The back piece is called Magic. Magic will do just that. He'll cast a bunch of magic spells at you throughout the fight. He is susceptible to mute though, so if you just mute him, he is no longer a factor until the end. The middle part is what we call tools. He's kind of similar to Tiger Face in that you don't want to let him linger too long or else he'll annoy you. He is susceptible to instant death along with Bolt. And the first part is called Hit, and similar to Magic, he will do just that. He just hits you the entire time. All he does is physical attacks every turn. And he does have a death counter called 10 hits, and if you don't know what 10 hits does, if you put a little thought into it, I think you can get there.
Okay, and it looks like Gar is starting his final Kefka fight too.
Yeah, we don't care about Gar's time on Final Kefka because he wasn't here first. We like winners on this stream, so we will play that game with Falcon Hit. Maybe we'll play it with some of our other runners when they come up here, but we're only concerned with Falcon Hit, with Gar's time, or if he can catch up to Falcon Hit. And we got Turdsman and Saberwolf at the beginning points of the tower here. While Gar and Falcon Hit are comfortably ahead, one of the risks of taking on Final Kefka is that the numerous tiers that you have to deal with and all the nasty challenges and things they can throw at you. So if you wipe, you have to start all the way back from the beginning. So Falcon Hit is done here with tier 2. He's moving on up to tier 3. But a wipe here is potentially backbreaking because you have a lot of runners right on your heels and you have to start all the way over from the beginning again. So a wipe here by Falcon Hit and or Gar can put one of the other runners into a position to move up a placement on our screen.
Okay, and just to confirm with to the race room that we do not have anyone who has finished as of yet, so it's entirely possible that Falcon Hit will be first to finish both on stream and overall.
Yeah, we do have, again, this is a 12-man race. We have 4 on your screen, 8 taking place off screen. 2 of the stronger runners in our community are Falcon Hit and Gar. Although Saberwolf and Turdsman are no slacks, no swances themselves, if you will. So,
yeah, I just wanted to get all that dead air out there for that dead joke. Thanks a lot, jerk. I am looking at a few other racers and can confirm that at least 2 of them are on Final Kefka. One is in the tower, and one is getting their Edgar at Belt Cave.
Beautiful.
Meanwhile, Gar is on tier 2, and Falcon Hit is still taking on tier 3.
So, little tier 3 knowledge for you. Tier 3 consists of 2 parts. Sleep, which is the back part that looks like it's sleeping, and I can't remember. I believe it's called rest, or some people will call them
Jerk.
Yeah, jerk face. Speaking of jerk face, here comes out Mito, which he will cast when he is under 10,000 HP left. So as we had mentioned earlier, Falcon had Fanure, and the chat I had mentioned Golem. For this tier, you do want something we call calmness protection. Calmness is a death counter that this part of the tier will use, and what calmness is, as you see on your screen, is missing, is a single target instant death physical attack. It does no damage, but technically it does all the damage because it instant KOs a character. So you want some things that protect against physical attacks like Golem and Fenrir, which gives you an image that will make the attack miss. So yeah, what you do is you cast Fenrir, you let the image play itself out, and then you whittle its HP down, and then you don't lose any characters for this fight.
And that is now tier 4. Here is the final Kefka.
Yeah, and with tier 4 with all 4 of your characters intact is a great feeling. Tier 4 Final Kefka has 60,000 HP. On his first turn, he will cast Fallen 1, which takes all of your character's HP down to 1, unless you can do 30,000 damage to him before he gets a chance to act. In that case, you will bypass the Fallen 1 phase, and let's see if Falcon can do that here. Yeah, that proc's going to give him a really good chance of getting there, along with that X Magic Bolt 3.
And is Falcon Hits like staying in menus to try to affect the counter?
Yeah, so you're kind of in Final Fantasy VI we can do what we call weight tricking. So on your screen right now you can see Saban's ATB bar, active time battle bar, is filling up. A good way to understand weight tricking is the picture that the enemy also has a little bar that fills up, and when it fills up for their turn they get a chance to act. If you do actions that prevent your bar from filling up, you will also do actions that prevent the enemy's bar from filling up. So in short, the less chances your enemy has to act, the less times they can hurt you. So you want to kind of manipulate your turns, let the animations play out, and that way you're giving the enemy the least possible amount of turns to do damage to you.
Meanwhile, Gar is now on tier 3.
And looks like it doesn't matter for Gar. That's Crack Pal for Falconhead at 115.07. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, get your GGs up in the chat for Falconhead. 115.07 is a very impressive time. And taking a little quick look in the chat here, and looks like he is the first one to finish out of the 12 people in this race we had mentioned. Schwartz is going to do a little finagling for us to get him in here to do an interview, I believe. And there he is. There is the man of the hour.
GG.
GG indeed, Falcon hit. Time of 115.07 is very good. How are you feeling taking down this large, robust pool of talented runners tonight?
It was kind of the perfect situation, right? Because I spiked Amaro in Phoenix Cave, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to follow Amaro to the end of whatever. And then I found all the characters I needed, so all I needed was Espers, and then my cast of characters was really good because I could just find Espers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the opener was kind of not great. I lost like 3 minutes in between the fighting the Vector Goyles. I should know better, right? Because they use water spells, and water spells, they don't really have like a lower tier, so they're always just gonna Aqua Rake you.
Yeah, it's
or
either
like
Aqua
something
Rake or
similar.
Aqua Edge, and or the one where it's a tidal wave. I forget what it's called.
Like Clean Sweep or something, right?
Yeah, so they're all AOE, and
they all just deal infinite damage because there's no like lower tier water spell. I guess Slide exists, but like, I should know better. I should have just like Warp Stoned out because, I was just gonna die, and I did die, and I lost like 2 minutes there, and then I wiped once the Blue Dragon at the beginning because why? I think I got a little unlucky.
I guess
honestly.
you just did your flippers and your snorkels because you just had a rough go up against water guys today.
Yeah, but the second time I got the preemptive, which means I defeated it handily. So you take the good with the bad.
Yeah, and we noticed that you, I think, held off on going to South Figaro and did some other areas first. When you did eventually get to South Figaro and saw the stuff that you could have looted there, were you at all concerned that other people got that first?
I was a little bit concerned, but then I looked at the fixed dice and who could wear it, and nobody could wear it. So I was like, I dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, because
the fixed dice was the most important thing because that could have like sped up someone else's fight because there was both fixed dice and offering, and that combination is enough to like carry an early game. I would have like loved it personally, but nobody could equip the fixed dice, so I was like, I'm good.
yeah. So did you fade the Vigoro basement at first because of the Terror start, or because you went Terrors and then Zen, and then
a collapsing house, and then I did all the World of Ruin decks from there. Yeah, I decided not to do Figaro basement because I felt like my characters were strong enough. Because if your character, the stronger your characters are, the less important looting is, because generally you'll just be using abilities, So if it's like a Ragnarok, it'll come into effect like mid-game, right? Because you're not going to be like swinging a Ragnarok when you're level 3. That just doesn't make any sense. So the stronger your characters are, the less important looting is. I felt like my characters were strong enough so that I didn't need to loot Seth Figure Basement.
Mhm.
I also got 2 shields, so I was feeling like really confident. Yeah, so that's why I just didn't loot Seth Figure Basement.
So looks like Gar is gonna finish here with a time around 120.
Ragnarok, huh?
So Ragnarok was at the Owzer's dead check, and then there's Illumina somewhere else. There was a couple of Illuminas.
I got an Illumina
Illumina
from
was
Opera.
from one of the dragons.
Yeah, I got it from Opera Dragon when I went for Skip, which I feel like is a little bit too strong.
And there was I was gonna bring that up because really the difference between y'all's times right now and where y'all are at while you're here and he's still playing is he went to the tower at 19 checks and didn't clear the middle to get his last 2 checks for Skip. He went about his business as it was a ho hum and everything was gravy. He didn't really lean into the chance to get a skip and save a few minutes off his time. So that's why he's finishing around a 120 and a 115 as opposed to 115 almost. I don't think it would have been the exact difference, but it would have shrunk the time gap.
Yeah, for sure. Because, well, in my timing, doing Atma or Cell Beast and Dragon, if you go up the middle, is about 3 minutes. So it would have been about 2 minutes. The routing I took with Opera Dragon, Cell Beast, Middle Dragon is 6 minutes, which I feel is worth the trade. The 1 minute trade-off is worth getting so much stronger, right? Because you kill 2 dragons and 1 more boss.
Yeah, if you need 3, then you do the Opera, then you do the middle. So you're doing 2 dragons, a boss, and a boss that rewards a high tier item. So it's really 3 high tier items plus the pool of XP.
Exactly.
If you just need 2, then you just go straight up the middle, and you still get the 2 high tier items, and then the 2x and only the 2 XP. But you already got that XP elsewhere because you were at 19 checks.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Gar now. Gar with his second place finish with an official time of. I don't know what the official time was because
It's,
from the screen.
It looks like it's 1 hour 19:59.
Beautiful.
GG.
GG's indeed, my friend. I believe that was second place for you. Gar, what are your thoughts overall on the seed? What'd you find that you liked and didn't like? I can see your mic going, but I don't hear you, my friend.
I was still muted. Okay, there we go.
Beautiful.
So first, I want to apologize for the timer on my end. It got stuck at 19 seconds, or 19 minutes, 59 seconds, and 94 milliseconds. So, something was goofy there. I don't know what. Anyway, I thought the seed was mostly fine. I didn't find a lot of offense until, like, the latter half. I really, really wanted to cast Merton, and unfortunately, I just could not make it work. But fortunately, I was able to find Illumina and Ragnarok to kind of pull things together, so it was okay.
Yeah, I believe you grabbed 3 Minervas for the green cherries. Was it in the Coliseum?
Yeah, Revivify is traded for Minervas, and I did see a 4th Minerva at Train, but I was already overcrowded on Minervas, so.
So you found the Thunder Shield in the Imperial treasure room. There was a Flame Shield in the barrel between the 2 shops in Walter Ruin, South Figaro. And there's a red jacket, and there was a red jacket in Phoenix Cave that Toppin had got at the beginning. So you were close, just a little off.
And then I rounded off my Burden Protection with Jump.
I thought about keeping Saban in the party just for Jump, but he was so bad.
What do you mean? There was a dragon horn in the basement, which I saw, and I was like, oh no, someone's got this dragon horn to fix this jumping.
Well, I never went to South Figaro in any incarnation.
I had Celeste, so I did it with good tempo.
Oh, okay. Where did you find Umaro?
Phoenix Cave.
Red jacket where you
Oh, I see. Okay. I did all the checks for the people, so I went down Leet.
Yo, let's go.
Yeah, nothing there. There was an offering.
In the basement too.
There was a ton of offerings in this.
Also, every Esper taught Merton or Ultima.
I know, and I was like, I was able to cast Merton for a little bit, and I just had save and jump over him. But yeah, like I never went to South Figaro in any incarnation, which is weird for me. Normally I go there like right off the rip, but routing just didn't take me there.
Schwantz, you got anything for our first and second place finishers? Maybe $1 million, perhaps.
I think I owe Falcon Hit 50 cents, so it was donated half of it to you from a viewer. So congratulations, you got a couple of quarters coming your way.
Yo, quarters? I'll take those quarters and I don't know, play 2 games of
You need
House of the
laundry
Dead
done.
You're
Do
Canadian,
your
right?
laundry.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that 50 US, it's like $20 Canadian. So
It's like $20. You're true. I could like do whatever I want.
yeah,
I don't know about whatever, but
listen, $20. It's $20. You can do a whole lot of things with $20.
Sonic the Jester saying there were flame shields in South Figaro Balance Armor Shop?
Yeah.
Man, I should have checked that.
so there were flame shields for sale in the World of Balance South Figaro. There were offerings for sale in the World of Balance Sin, which I believe you found.
The one time that I just don't go and like all the stuff is there, I'm so mad now.
I mean, I didn't even use offering.
I
never
found
found-
Edgar.
Yeah.
I found Edgar at the end who could use fixed ice, and so he just did that.
Makes sense. I never found a weapon to pair with the offering, so I was just like, actually, it would have been okay at the beginning because I could use like Wing Edge offering, and that would have been my grind, just like trying to instant death everything.
Yeah, fish for procs.
Yeah, but like I got through. I found the 4x empty, and I just revivified them, and I was like, I was free.
Yeah,
And once you're off level 3, it's just like, yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I wound up finding Illumina and Ragnarok, and so Locke had a bunch of cool stuff to do. Realmcast Ultima, and then Terra just kind of sat there. She did her best.
Oh, that's so funny because Terra was casting Merton and Ultima for me, and Realm just kind of sat there.
Hey, GG, Jax.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in and say that we've had 3 more finishers. Zelfer in 3rd, Green Monkey in 4th, and Jexrock in 5th. GG to all of them.
beautiful.
GG. Congrats to Zelfer, too. He's been away from the game for a little while.
And Tersman is on, I believe, tier 2 of the final Kifka fight.
He'll be finished up here very shortly. Guys, what are your thoughts for the upcoming season? Y'all excited? Falcon here? Are you coming back to defend those trophies?
Yo, you know it.
You know it, dog.
I do like a lot of the changes for Season 5. I'm still iffy about Ultima, but like at least for now it seems to be okay.
You want to know something weird? Well, maybe it's not weird, but maybe the first 4 or 5 seats I did, I probably cast Ultima in 3 or 4 of them. And then I went almost like a week without ever seeing it again, either playing myself or seeing it on stream. And then saw it maybe one time in one of my practice seeds that I posted on the spreadsheet, which actually was glorious because it was an X Magic realm with the Commonizer spamming it, spamming Ultima. Then I didn't see it again till today, so I don't think you're going to see it as much as some of the concerns that are out there. It just feels like it when you do see it, because I think it's still in a lot of people's minds, the gear that it's bad, but it's uncommonly bad, if that makes any sense.
I think that's something I want to start tracking, because it feels like the last 4 or 5 seeds I ran, there was just a ton of Merton and a ton of Ultima available.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with the MP changes, it's mostly okay. The only exception would be like if you find an early economizer, in which case you can just steamroll the entire seed.
I feel like the one thing Ultimate does is give me peace of mind, because I know that, like, when I'm thinking about like arranging my party, it's like, oh, I'm lacking this, so hopefully there's this boss isn't at this location. But with Ultimate, that doesn't matter, right? Because Ultimate just kills everything.
It's
And
the
if
ultimate
you,
safety button.
exactly. If I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Ultima.
I just don't
Yeah,
have to think about it, right?
Ultima
Ultimate is just
stinks.
really good. If you have to, the MP restriction is kind of not relevant for most situations, because if you have to cast Ultimate more than once, you're already in a terrible situation, right?
Since this came up in the chat, I think Falcon, you're the only one we saw who found Fenrir.
I cannot remember where Fenrir was.
I think
was it?
It was Magitech 2, or
Was
it
it
was one of the
Magitech 2?
later ones you found him.
Magitech 2 makes a lot of sense. If nobody else found Fenrir, then it must be like Magitech 2 or something, or maybe Shadow's Tracks or something like that.
No,
Because it was.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure everybody else found the other characters that I had besides Celeste.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Celeste check, and I think it was one of the Magitech facility checks.
It was Magitech 2, because Magitech 1 I think was dead.
I was actually really happy that Magitech 1 was dead, because it got me to 18.
I do like that if you watch this back, you will see I call out everything you do, from your start of going into Phoenix Cave to leaning into other characters' checks to warping out after Magitech 2 and then going to Opera House.
Yeah.
Usually I put an egg on my face anytime I try to guess anything, but I was spot on with everywhere you're going. So
you know me.
I know you well, my friend. I'm coming.
And I'm just going to jump in real quick again to note that Saberwolf has started his final Kefka fight as well.
Oh, nice. And I just posted some links in the chat. I'll post them one more time. The SpeedGaming bot kind of bumped them. If I can spell weekly right. Final Fantasy, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got the link to our Discord right there. Come join us. We'd love to have you. You got the link to the runners currently on our stream, but also at FalconHit, at I am Gar. How do you spell Gar? Gar?
GAAHR.
Beautiful. Give them a follow. Join our community. If you like what you've seen on screen tonight, we'd love to have you. Also, if you are a new player, returning player, or just generally curious, our Ultros League does start this weekend. Sign-ups are still available. You can find all that relevant information, one, in the Discord, or two, at ultrosleague.com. There will be a Google Form sign-up sheet. You just sign up. If you've never played before, you will be placed into an opening tier. No experience required. You do need to have some way to validate your runs, whether it's local recording or hosting them on my stream that saves them, but that's no big deal. We have guides for you to show you how to get that set up. Or if you just want to start playing at all, come join our Discord. We'll get you up and running. We'll show you how to play. If you just want to play, we'll show you how to play. If you want to get better, we're happy to show you how to get better. Whatever you want to do, we'll help you get there. Come join us.
Yeah, I definitely need to get better. But in the meantime, Tersman is now at the final phase of Final Kefka.
Beautiful. Tersman got that dog in him, so I think he'll finish this out here.
True.
True indeed. Keith Rocks, I want to end up in Blues Division. Keith, I want you there too, my friend. There's nothing I love more than taking on a good Teeth every once in a while, so I hope so too. And Velas, outside of our community, you got anything else coming up that you'd like to plug or give a shout out to?
Well, first of all, shout outs to you guys, Drinks Blue, Joker Mage, and the Schwantz27. Y'all do a fantastic job on the comms and setting up the event on SpeedGaming, and I really appreciate it. It's a ton of fun, and yeah, really appreciate it. And thanks to SpeedGaming for hosting us as always.
Yeah, I'm surprised they keep giving me a live mic every week. Eventually that will probably stop, but We're not there yet, so we'll keep the momentum going.
Might as well.
Might as well. And Falcon Hit, same question to you.
Not much. Just thank you to restreamers and casters. I am going to be running my tournament match in Hollow Knight Randomizer tomorrow. So wish me luck.
Oh, good luck. Having not played Hollow Knight, it looks like a lot of fun. So.
It is very fun. But you know these randomizers, you have to be like in it in order to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And on tournament screen, you see the Goner charge.
Yeah, so thank you guys again, Falcon Hit and Gar, for volunteering to be on Restream. Can't have the races without the runners. You guys are awesome. And looking forward to seeing the Megalixir battles between you guys this upcoming season. Falcon Hit, what is, I guess, your thing that you want to do that you did in this race that you hope you would like to do more often in the Season 5?
Hopefully I get to skip Septical Basement more often. I feel that it is much more viable with this flag set. Before you had to, it was very, towns were very strong because you could find experience eggs, and if you miss the experience egg, it's just like the race is over. But with towns being weaker now because experience eggs are not and illuminants are not in shops, it's very possible to skip these towns, which I like a lot because I like looting much more than like looking at shops. So hopefully I will skip every single Satellite basement until I get Celeste.
Or until you get burned by it in week 1.
True.
What about you, Gar? One thing you did in this race maybe that you want to carry forward into Season 5?
So I went to Miranda, and
Yes,
there was a gem
as you
box
always
there.
do.
And yeah, and that sold for like $20,000. Isn't that neat?
Yeah, it's wonderful what some items sell for.
Yeah. Now it helped me in literally no other way, but I still plan on going to Miranda because it is a very oft-forgotten town, and sometimes you pull an Illumina out of the chest and it's great. So where applicable, I think I'll just keep on doing that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Gar, and I think Falcon had already left. So thank you, Gar, and I'm just going to see if we can get Turdsman in here, who did finish third on stream. 1:35:32 was his time.
And that's six overall.
Yes, and unfortunately, I think that's going to be a forfeit for Lankshin. So we'll remove this slot here. There we go.
Meanwhile, Saberwolf is on tier 3 of the final Kifka fight.
Saberwolf's audio was not great when I checked it before. I'll check it again. See if maybe we could get his stuff in here. All right, I bumped up his audio, so maybe we can actually use it now. Turdsman is in the Twitch chat, but he's not in the he's not in the interview booth. Turdsman, hopefully you got a message with an invite. If not, I could certainly invite you if you'd like to do an interview. Saberwolf here using both GP Rain and Meteor on this fight because Girl absorbs every single element, and I believe he's got a Merton heavy offense. So that's one of the downsides about having a Merton heavy offense is you got to pick something else for Girl because Girl will absorb that Merton like a ShamWow. I wonder if we're going to get a Swag Sketch Ultima for Final Kefka because I think Terra has Sketch, I believe? Question mark?
And I think with the forfeit from Lanxian, there's only 3 runners currently in the race. You're seeing the 2 of them, Christopher Warkin, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, and Saberwolf. The last runner, Ceiling Cat, is not streaming, but is in the race, I think.
Yeah, and we do have Tursman joining us in the booth. GG's, congratulations on your 3rd place on stream finish. Let us know how you thought that went, as it went better than Realm, who just died to calmness. Well,
yeah, that was unfortunate. But good thing I bought those Mirage vests, huh?
yeah. Well, Falcon Hit was the only person who had Fenrir. That was at Magitech Factory number 2. And I think Golem was at the South Figaro Engine Room, which is what we saw from Christopher Warkin.
Yeah, I saw that he had Edgar. I did not run into that guy.
He was at the Velt Cave, in case you wanted to go there. So it looked like there was a couple of paths. There was a couple of paths through the seed. Tell us, which one you chose and why.
Yeah, well, for starters, I kind of forgot about Sealed Cave until, about like after I already started looting around, and I just, I found a shop that had flame shields and his neighbor had pearl rods, so that kind of short-circuited all of my thought process. And so I wanted to use those to try to squeeze by a couple of bosses early on, but I ended up kind of chickening out and taking some grind fights early on anyway. They didn't go too terribly, and then just after that, it was just kind of chasing whichever checks seemed fastest at the moment. I noticed the Celeste in Umaro's cave pretty early on, so I was hoping to find him, and then he showed up as my 5th character, and I thought, like, oh, perfect. All I have to do is get up to 8 Espers now, and let's go. But then the auction house gave me a little bit of guff.
Yeah, so you touched on a couple of things I was going to ask about, those pearl rods you had bought and the auction house. So were you feeling that you had enough levels and that's why you wanted to do auction house for your last Espers, or were you just out of peekable checks at that point?
No, I felt confident enough. Like, I knew I was going to at least fight the 2 bosses at in the Narsh mountain, and I could take that dragon if I felt, like that. Say I got some really bad experience ones or something like that, I could, shore up some levels there. So I wanted to get that last Esper as fast as possible. I didn't really want to go and do checks and run the risk of, running into, a 5th set of fixed dice or something.
Yeah, so speaking of checks, one of the new things with Ultra Sleek Season 5 is 21 checks for skip. I didn't see you have your tracker working, so I wasn't sure how close you were to getting that skip. Was that in the back of your mind with some of the dead checks that we had seen throughout the run?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I forgot to reload that in OBS. That's my bad. I think I had 18 by the end, so it wasn't quite close enough for me to, go fight the Opera House Dragon and maybe get, like, Toilet Atma or something like that. I figured, I got to get
much
moving.
Quicker to do Opera House Dragon and Toilet Atma next Dragon than to go through the normal way. I think we saw Falcon Hit do that, and we saw we heard rather from one of our other runners in chat that they did that as well. So I think that's going to be something on runners' minds this season. Is really the skip is at 19, and you can take those 2 quick fights in that party there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like 19 is kind of the magic number. If I can do 2 quick checks and use that to get the skip, then I'll definitely do that. But 3 kind of felt a little. Uh-oh.
We got the swag sketch, but I think Shadow is muted, so the ultimate didn't go off before the gunner.
Feels like that happens 9 out of 10 times. Like, I've done that a dozen times myself. Like that, you keep forgetting. Like, oh, right, yeah.
Yep.
Sketch is magic or something. It's a verbal performance.
Yeah. I think Saberwolf's going to get this here, though, with Merton all over the place. That's pretty much a GG. So we had a lot of very powerful magic spells that you learned at a very low rate. Were you only took on one dragon, I believe. Was that ever in your mind that I need to take more dragons to learn these spells, or was your offense set with the stuff that you had going on for you already?
I wasn't too worried about getting a bunch of Ultimas around. Oh, hey, GG Saberwolf.
Yep. So that is a time of 1:44:27 officially.
Yeah,
so make sure you give him and Turdsman a follow for finishing up here.
Just cut in real quick.
Go ahead there, Joker.
We had Ceiling Cat finish in 7th at 1:40:22, I believe. And as you said, Saberwolf has just finished in 8th place with 1:44:27.
This is a big race. This is awesome.
Yeah, I
like 12 people.
I'm really thankful that a lot of people wanted to get their Ultra Sleep practice in before the division assignments go out this Sunday. Now I feel like a NASCAR driver. Anyway,
there be square.
Did you do the Leet River as well? Yes.
No, I did not.
Okay, that was Saberwolf. That's who it was. Saberwolf and Gar did the Leet River for an offering.
Okay. Yeah, there was an offering floating around. Man, South Figaro basement was the place to be. Like,
Except
there was just
nobody could use the fixed ice.
Well, yeah, nobody could use the fixed. Hey, that's fine.
Except for Edgar once you eventually got him.
Okay. I mean, there were flame shields upstairs, so I didn't really care. It was like I found like 2 ribbons, fixed ice, offering, a ton of crap down there, and I figured, okay, I'm just gonna. This is money. I found 50 grand in this rich guy's basement. Sweet, let's go.
Yeah. So, question for you, Saberwolf. Now that you're in here, but you're on mute, and question also as well in the chat for Gar. How does the new and improved Leet River feel? I personally feel like I might actually go and do it now with the 4 or 5 checks instead of the possibility of 8, and you get stuck because the boss is very difficult.
I mean, I wish I could say it worked out for me, but it was a snow muffler, so it didn't really work out for me.
Yeah, it ended up being a dead check, but it did at least help you with levels. Some of our other runners who took a lot of free checks did not have the same luck because they had to just do some grind fights. But I just figured I'd ask how it felt because it's new.
Well, I mean, it was fine with me. Like it did feel a little faster, and I think it was worth it, especially when 3 of the first 4 espers you get is 2 Mertens and an Ultima. So, in Cure 3. So,
right.
When you get that, you're like, oh, let me do Let River, get some extra levels, extra magic points, get Merton early, and oh, wait, what's this? Oh, there was Fire Shields and World of Balance South Figaro. This must be a Merton seed.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of why I didn't worry about Ultima too much, because I had plenty of Fire Shields. I found that one Thunder Shield in Sealed Cave, and yeah, I didn't want to use up time on Ultima. Like Ultima is really good, obviously, but it's extremely expensive. I sold that gold hairpin early on, which whoops.
Yep.
But
wah.
Like Merton was doing so much damage that it kind of didn't matter too much, and
until tier 3.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, and what I should have done is I should have taught it to Terra instead of Realm, because Realm had GP Rain. That way everybody could do some non-elemental damage, but oh well.
Yeah.
And if I could just ask, is there anything from your experience with this seed that you plan on taking forward once we start the league proper?
I mean, I finished dead last, so not really.
I definitely am. I'm trying to be very mindful of spells. Like I had the same problem before the change to the learning rates, where if I found Ice 3, I wanted everybody to have Ice 3. Even in this situation, like I would have taught Ice 3 to Sabin, because that's just, I don't know, it just felt good or something. I'm not sure. So that's something I'm really trying to make sure I keep at the forefront of my head, is going into that Esper menu as little as possible.
Sound advice right there. Menus are for ordering lunch, not Esper in fast times.
Yep. They're for saving and sleeping.
I mean, I
Lunch
felt like I made the right choices and I went to the right places, the fastest places. I just got diddly squat, and that kind of messed me up.
There were a lot of dead checks in very easy to go get locations in this particular seed. Like I think we saw Umaro in Phoenix Cave, which is a strange spot for a Yeti. So that opened up some stuff. There was also so then that led to Celeste at Yeti Cave.
That didn't matter.
I know that
so.
Saberwolf, you went through the entire floating continent and only got 2 Espers out of it looking for characters. I thought for you that was the absolute right play at that point in your run. I think you were at either 4 or 5 characters and like 4 or 5 Espers. I thought that was the thing to do, and it turned out to be not that great because you had a couple of bad encounters up there as well, right?
No, well, the counters weren't that bad actually. They were easy-ish ones.
There was Doom
like
as the first boss, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I just started having Merton online right there, and I took Doom out, and that's where I did the dispel, because it dispelled his force field, so I got rid of the wall, so I could finish him off. So I danced on that one. But yeah, I mean, like I did like Floating Continent to try to get like 2 or 3 Espers, maybe a character at the end. I only got 2, and then I try to go to what was right after that. I don't know. I knew I went to somewhere else. It was a quick check. That was dead. I went somewhere else. That one was dead, and I was like, come on, gee, like. I think I had like 4 dead checks out of like 6. And I just like, and then of course, Let the River was dead. So, and that was just, I don't know.
Yeah, and there were a lot of dead checks in the like common early ones too. Like World of Ruin Jador is a really good check to pick as your first one. It's got a couple of those encounters in front, and that was a Ragnarok, which is not bad. Like I was really happy to see a weapon that was better than the magical brush. But unfortunately, not progression, and Sabin couldn't use it, so...
Yeah. Well, I think also with the adjustment to the high-tier item pool, you guys didn't get any showstopper rewards, except for, I think one of the dragons dropped an Illumina. There was a Ragnarok, there was an Offering, there was a Dragon Horn, there was some Force garbage. I think there was a Minerva, I think you peaked Saberwolf at the Phantom Train as well.
Which I didn't take either. Yeah, that was another one. That's another dead check. I'm like, I don't really want this either.
Why didn't you complete it for the Minerva?
Because I had 4 flame shields. What's the Minerva going to do?
If there was a flame shield, would you have done it?
You cost glue $1. No, just kidding.
because I could buy them. I could buy them anywhere I wanted. I know where to find them.
Yeah,
no sense of getting one for free and just doing a check with that. I already know it's going to be dead, and not giving me progression. So what's the point of it? I mean,
them for Rebifies in the Coliseum.
Phantom Train is pretty long too, so I can see that.
Yeah, there was no point of doing Phantom Train at all because I knew where they were. So
completely forgot the Coliseum.
Yeah, I think Gar was the only one on stream that did Coliseum. There were Minerva for Revivify, but the enemy was a mover, and you had to wait for Realm to throw some GP at it to kill it, basically.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, given the setup of the party, there wasn't really a reason to go to Coliseum because there wasn't, like, because Coliseum, like, you have no control over it.
Right.
So you had to, like, chance to get, like, whatever the fight's going to be. It could be difficult. You don't know. And unless you got, I guess, Yeti early in Phoenix Cave, which was never impossible because Locke was down in the check somewhere. I
Well,
don't
Locke,
think.
I
I don't
mean,
think there was a way to go.
Falcon
Coliseum
Hit
early.
did it very early because he got Locke at Collapsing House, and then Phoenix Cave was literally right next to it. But he was the only one that went there very early. I think Turdsman, you were the only other one on screen that also went to the Phoenix Cave to get Locke as well. But
Yeah.
you did it much later.
Oh, my push to talk button is the same as the button to reset my game.
That's all right. We don't need to see the
No.
ending anyway. It's like 300 hours long. So I guess we'll wrap it up here. Joker Mage, you got any other questions for our runners?
No, I think this is, as a newer player to Worlds Collide, this has been
Oh
actually
no.
Oh,
Yeah, so as a newer
Ooh.
player, Worlds to Collide, don't do that. Don't leave the head for last because then you'll get a Quake death counter and you'll lose your party. So this is me. I would just reset. I'd eat the couple of minutes because being down 2 party members to fight the rest of Kefka is terrible. Anyway, continue onwards. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, being able to do comms and then talk to people afterwards, I think is, helping me out. And it's definitely like exposed me to a bunch of how there's different ways to approach different situations. So I'm always glad to have this opportunity to, be here on comms and just have sort of a front row seat to these races. And again, thanks to everyone who is participating in this race.
Yeah, I thought you did an awesome job with this race. So hope to see you on here more for volunteering. And Glue, you got any other questions for our runners here?
Excuse me, Turdsman, Saberwolf, do you guys have anything coming up inside or outside our community that you would like to give a shout out to?
just give a shout out to extra-life.org. If you search for Saberwolf on there, you can find my page where I'm streaming. You can actually watch Twitch that way. And 100% of your donations goes to Extra Life, and me specifically goes to the Connecticut Children's Hospital. So if you want to help out a good cause and watch some good gaming, you can head over there.
Very nice. Turdsman? Turdsman,
Yeah,
you've been playing some horror games lately, I've seen.
Oh yeah. I've been trying to stream stuff that isn't Worlds Collide. So yeah, if you like looking at Resident Evil 1 for the PS1, you can check
It's
that
the
out.
season. It's Halloween.
That's right. But I mean, the main thing I want to shout out is just the huge staff that we've got that keeps this game running. It's fantastic. There's a big dev team they're constantly coming up with fun little tweaks. The most recent, I'm sure that they've been you've been hearing about it a lot, but the changes to the item pool, the changes to Elite River, I want to give a big shout out to everyone behind the scenes that keeps this thing running super smoothly.
All right. Well, I would like to thank both of you, Saberwolf and Turdsman, for volunteering to be up on the big screen. Can't have the races without the runners either. So GG's to both of you for getting through this one, Dead Check City. I didn't roll this, so don't blame it on me. And
This one was my fault.
good luck.
Yeah,
Good, good luck this season in Ultras League Season 5. And
You missed
we'll see
Turdsman.
you then.
You missed how you got selected to roll the seed.
Oh yeah, I didn't see the duck fight.
You'll have to check it out next time out. I think
Definitely.
that's what we'll do going forward, and it will be it will become a staple of who rolls the seed for the speed gaming races. Schwantz missed it as well, but Saberwolf was there, and Saberwolf can attest that it was amazing.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Totally
love
watched it.
I love a random number generator.
I will say one more thing. Next year, I believe, actually this coming week, we're going into Elixir. So that should be interesting. I'm a little nervous, but we'll see how it goes.
Hey, we'll see you there, buddy. Because I've been in Elixir for 4 seasons now, so I can't move up or down. I'm kind of in limbo.
I would argue your Elixir mates are going to be nervous to see you in there.
No, I wouldn't think so, but I appreciate that though. But I mean, I felt comfortable. I mean, my times this week, I felt comfortable. I just got hit with those dead checks, and that Lech River just zonked me too. So overall, I feel good going into season. My times are all going like 135 or lower, which I'm happy with. That's a lower time. Those are low times for me.
Mhm.
Is it good enough for Elixir? Probably not. Like Elixir's around 125, 130, so I'm going to be about 5 minutes off the pace, but we'll see how it goes.
I will say the biggest difference between Potion and Elixir is in Elixir, if you make a mistake, you're not getting in first place that week. Just forget about it. There are so many times where it's like, well, I died on this boss, I lost 4 minutes, and now I'm going to be at least in fourth. That's just how it goes sometimes. So it's kind of brutal in that sort of way, but it also lets you learn, right? The point of Ultras League is to be around, hopefully, people of your same skill level to help you progress and get better, and getting advice from them and being friends with them and talking to them will help out your game, and it'll make you some new friends or frenemies or both, so it's all good that way.
I just want to say, I think my best ULS5 time is still like 2:38, so you all seem like sorcerers to me.
You start cutting it off. There's like plateaus attached to it. Like I'm around where Saberwolf is with, in the 130s. Like I get a 125 and I'm over the moon about it. But like I went from averaging just over 2 hours to averaging just over, around 130, and it felt like it just happened overnight. Like I figured out like, oh, okay, the top players do this thing, and this thing. I'll try to implement that next time, and it just clicked. Like it feels like it works kind of almost a staircase.
145, 150 is a good target time to reach for when you first start playing this game. 145, 150 is a really, really good time. Ultras League 5 flag set, the meta right now is a little faster than previous Ultras Leagues, I want to say. Times are definitely like, 3, 4, 5 minutes faster than previous Ultras Leagues I'm seeing. Like Falcon is getting consistently 115 like every single time I see a player play next to him. He's 115 every single time. So all the times are seeming like 5 minutes faster, and this is a really fast like meta right now. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think things will be more normalized across seeds. Like I don't think you're going to see, half hour or 20-minute differences like you did with last season, because we took out things like Super Balls from shops. We took out experience eggs from shops. We, things that one player would find and other players wouldn't, that would give them such a huge advantage very early on in the seed, right? So you'll see probably more condensed times, which means, every little piece of, instance that you do will make up time here and there. So I think it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and the old saying goes, if you want to cut off minutes, you start with seconds. So when you do those 245s, just kind of look and see what you did. How many chests did you open? How many places did you visit? How many times did you go on the Esper menu? And just slowly trim it. My goal is always to come in under 50 chests, which is a really small amount. But if you're opening 100 chests every time, you can't make that jump from 100 to 50. So maybe you want to, maybe I try to get it under 90 and just work your way down. And two, you really don't want to base it off of your PB. Kind of more of an average time, because your PB is that it's a 1 of 1. So if you run 50 seeds, it's a 1 of 50, and then as you play more, it'll become a 1 of 100. And if you're always basing off of that, you'll always frustrate yourself, and you'll never really have any meaningful way to track progress. So 1, average time, and then 2, just how do you cut off seconds and build from there.
Yeah, you can't always go by PB, because PB could have been like Realm starting with Magic Tech, and you had Celeste in the party too. Like that's like you're of course you're gonna PB that. That's like the best start you can get. But like, I mean, and I will say like this run, like I actually looted less than I usually do. So maybe I am feeling better in that respect. Like I have more Espers and characters and lesser like looting than I had in the previous runs I've ever done. And it's just, you know what? The chips fall really well. Rando's gonna rando. A lot of dead checks. I don't know. Is the way the meta is flags set up? Are there more dead checks than there used to be? It just feels like it.
No, in fact,
yeah, it feels like it's so
I think
much.
there's like one less actually.
So how is there one less?
No, there's
It's the same.
I mean, because auction house is always at least one dead check, right? So that is from season 4.
Oh,
But-
you're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If no free progression was on, then yes, there would be less non-free dead checks, but that's not the case. So, yeah, I think now's the perfect time for a plug of StatsToCollide.com and the Stats Companion app. You can find both in our Discord, and they will help you track your your times. So, great
Not
plug
your
for that,
offense.
Saberwolf. Look at that, always the salesman. Great job. All right, we've been droning on and on, but you guys, runners, turdsmen, got anything else for us?
No, I think I'm good.
Saberwolf, any final thoughts?
This cooking meeting is good. You came to me too soon.
String Screw, what's your favorite type of cookie, and is it the one that Saberwolf is eating?
It is chocolate chip. It is
Oh.
chocolate chip, which
Go
I'm
on.
eating. But these are the Chips Ahoy chewy ones. They're not like the real ones,
Ugh.
you know, like the
Oh,
life
those
mates.
No, chewy cookies are awful. God awful.
Uh-oh.
Oh, come on now. I
God
love.
awful. No.
Okay. Oh, no. We gotta
Well,
hold on.
no,
We
I
gotta
don't wanna-
talk about. No, we gotta talk about this.
I
now.
do not want to feel like I'm eating raw dough. No.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing. I do. That's the best part.
I
Well-
am disgusted, 1, in your cookie selection, 2, in that confusing my obsession with cookies for cheesecake.
So
1, I
Speaking
needed
of-
something cheap. 2, I needed a snack for D&D last week. Okay? And my wife wasn't around, so I couldn't get cookies like I wanted to. And 3,
So
I'm Santa
Saberwolf
Claus in my
7
house. I'll have the cookies the way I want it because I'm Santa, okay?
Saberwolf's having guy dinner over here. Joker
An
made
entire pack of chewy Chips Ahoy and a sugar-free Red Bull.
It is a family size, actually.
There you go. Joker, you got any other thoughts besides what type
well,
of
regarding
cookies you like?
cookies,
You got to get down to it.
yeah, if you happen to be in southern New Hampshire during the winter, you can always go to the Pat's Peak ski area in Henniker and get their giant M&M cookies. Each one is $5, but it's worth it.
It's,
All right, I'm getting
I
a plane
mean,
ticket.
for us, I mean, I'm in New York. Saberwolf, I think, is in Connecticut. It's not too far. It's a 3-hour drive. I think it'll be
It's
worth
on my
the
way to
cookie.
Maine.
There you go. There it is. So yeah, any other final thoughts, Joker Maze, that is not cookie related?
I'm just glad you guys let me do this and let me come along, even though I know very little about what I'm actually seeing.
No, I think you did a fantastic, great job on the mic tonight. Drinks Glue, you got any other thoughts or praise for our runners and commentary crew? And he's eating a cookie too. So I will just say, thank you guys for running. Thank you for being in the commentary booth. Can you guys hear me?
Can.
Okay.
Why'd
I
you
was
respond?
like-
You should have left him hanging.
Oh man, you're right.
I was like, well, this screen in Discord is frozen. Nobody laughed at my joke, which is, I guess, usual. But yeah. So thank you guys for running the race. Thank you to Joker Mage and Drinks Glue for doing commentary for us tonight in this race. I think we had a lot of fun here in the booth, and I hope you did too. FS6WorldsCollide.com if you want to run your own seeds. And I think that is going to do it for us, unless Drinks Glue is finally back and done with his cookie. He is not great. Anyways, we'll sign off, and we'll be back sometime next week on SpeedGaming, one of the channels anyway, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern-ish. And if you are interested in joining Ultras League, we are in the waning days of signups. I think the 28th is your last day to sign up, so that's this Saturday. So get to signing up in our Discord, fs6worldscollide.com/Discord. Hope to see you there. Catch you later, everybody, and bye-bye, Sabin, RIP in the chat.